So it is a new day at the SEC, and we are picking up the gauntlet and the challenge that President Trump has laid down to make America, the crypto capital of the world, and to have U.S. technology basically running the world running on U.S. technology. So there are a lot of ways that we can help do that, and that is provide certainty and regulatory certainty and good rules that are fit for purpose for the crypto industry, so that innovators know how to innovate and investors know what they're investing in, and that everybody can have certainty so that it's on a firm foundation.
The war on crypto regulation in the United States may finally be coming to an end. For years, the industry has operated in a fog of uncertainty, with entrepreneurs hesitant to innovate for fear of running afoul of the law. Now, under SEC Chairman Paul Atkins, that approach is changing. His new initiative, Project Crypto, is aimed at giving digital asset companies a clear path forward while protecting investors and maintaining U.S. leadership in financial technology. This is more than just a policy shift. It's a signal that Washington might finally be ready to embrace crypto rather than fight it.
Well, the Howey test applies to a term called investment contract that was in the securities laws back in the 30s, and the Supreme Court construed that in the case of orange groves and oranges, and investors in that, whether or not they had a security or not. And so that's the law of the land as far as investment contract definition goes. But in that there have been, over the last 80 years, a number of applications of that. But it's, in the 21st century now, we have, at the SEC, we have authority that we can use to help construe that and develop that farther into the 21st century. So we aim to do that. So not every crypto asset is an investment contract or therefore security, and we're out to give people certainty in that with good rules that give them the guardrails to innovate and to be able to take things to market.
This marks a dramatic shift from the previous administration's approach, which leaned heavily on treating most crypto assets as securities. By reevaluating the application of the Howey test, a legal framework dating back to the 1930s, Atkins is signaling that digital assets need modern rules that reflect today's realities. It's a stance that could unlock new growth opportunities while keeping bad actors in check.
Well, so that's what's the beauty in the PWG report. So we've been collaborating with our fellow regulators and the bank regulators and the CFTC and Treasury to develop this report, the DOJ as well, and Commerce. So so what we have to do is have a system that provides certainty, but by that that could have overlapping jurisdiction, but we have to have flexibility for market participants and people who are innovating so that they know that they're not going to get caught in a trap, which is too often what they've had to do here in the past several years. So we will work with Congress. They just passed and enacted the Genius Act here a couple weeks ago, and now they're working on what's called the Clarity Act that the House has passed. I commend them for doing that, and now it's in the Senate, and the senators will be addressing those issues, and there'll be a back and forth, but we're working with them and look forward to having a system that makes sense for this budding technology.
Instead of the regulatory turf wars that have stifled progress in the past, Atkins emphasizes collaboration between the SEC, CFTC, Treasury, Congress, and other agencies. This interagency cooperation is designed to create what he calls predictable compliance pathways, a regulatory roadmap that crypto companies can follow without fear of being blindsided. The mention of newly passed legislation like the Genius Act and pending bills such as the Clarity Act shows that Washington is finally aligning its laws with the needs of the crypto industry.
Well, the one thing about these predictable pathways, and the previous question about overlap, It's fine to have overlap, and if you look at the bank regulatory system, there's overlapping jurisdiction between various regulators, but there's certainty as to what the market participants can do in that area. So if we have flexibility, a flexible type of framework, I think that's the best. No turf battles, because the battlefield is strewn with corpses of old potential products like single stock futures and others that got caught up in a regulatory turf battle in the past. So we have to put that aside. We have to keep in mind innovation and investing, and make sure that people have certainty and they won't get caught up in it.
The key word here is certainty. Atkins's vision for Project Crypto is not just about keeping regulators happy. It's about creating an environment where crypto projects can thrive without the constant threat of legal whiplash. By comparing the new framework to the bank regulatory model, he's making a clear point. Overlapping oversight isn't a problem if the rules are predictable and fair.
Well, investor protection is, foremost in our mind, as well as capital formation and innovation in the capital markets and so forth. So there's a balance there. But FTX is a good example of, had it been part of, rather than being offshore, had it been onshore in America under American regulation, I think there would have been a totally different development of that and outcome. They could not have done what they did. They owned a subsidiary here in the U.S. that was the old Ledger X that was under CFTC regulation. No investors lost any money. There was segregation of assets, and not the hanky-panky that went on in Bahamas and offshore.
The FTX collapse looms large over this regulatory overhaul. Atkins argues that bringing crypto exchanges onshore under clear and enforceable U.S. rules could prevent another disaster like that from happening. It's a call to both protect investors and secure America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. Project Crypto isn't just a policy adjustment. It represents a fundamental shift in how the United States views and engages with digital assets. For years, the crypto industry has struggled under a cloud of regulatory uncertainty, often facing conflicting guidance from multiple agencies and the ever-present threat of enforcement actions. Paul Atkins is signaling the end of that era. Through his emphasis on collaboration between the SEC, CFTC, Treasury, and Congress, along with support for new legislation like the Genius Act and Clarity Act, he's working to create the predictable compliance pathways that entrepreneurs have long demanded. By modernizing the interpretation of the Howey test and acknowledging that not all crypto assets are securities, Atkins is laying the groundwork for a regulatory environment that fosters innovation while keeping investor protections at the forefront. And perhaps most importantly, his comments about FTX show a clear understanding of how past failures can inform a safer, more transparent future for the industry.
Thank you
Here
for
on some
having
of these
me.
initial plans.
Do you think this new approach will finally make the U.S. the global leader in crypto innovation? Or is it too late for Washington to catch up? Share your thoughts in the comments.